Yo, 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 what is up? What is up? What is up? Welcome back to the third intermission. Your boy Avery back in the host chair once again for Dave. We got a full house on the show today. And first of all, I want to say of the people who are back in the show, welcome back, Sebastian. How you doing, buddy?
Good, thanks. I'm happy to be back. It's been a long time.
No, it's good to have you back here, dude. We missed you. We know things have been tough, but it's good to have you back here in a place that we care about you, dude.
Yeah, I'm happy to be back. I'm happy to see everybody, and I've started watching sports again, so can't wait to talk about some fun stuff and about the guest here and all that. So yeah, let's get it.
No, of course, of course. And also, too, you got Marsha here. Marsha, well gone. How you doing, Marsha?
Yo, yo, yo. I'm sorry, I stole your bit. I stole your bit. Brother, it is October and the globe is warm, the globe is cold. We just had like 20-degree weather a couple of days ago. I was confused. This is why I sound the way that I sound.
I
My
don't know who
nose
this
is
we is, but
running.
it's been cold here all week.
Oh yeah,
We're
no,
about
no, it's
20
it's
degrees
freezing
here.
now. It's freezing now. And my
Jeez.
house is an ice block because the furnace decided to stop working. So Enercare, you better get here quick and fix it
Now
because the
you know
space heater's
damn
not
well
doing nothing.
You know damn well they're gonna take their sweet ass time.
Exactly.
Of
But
course.
otherwise, everything's been great. No complaints over here. I've been doing good.
That's great. That's great. And also on the show today, we have a very, very special guest, a board member of Black Girl Hockey Club, and one of the biggest Washington Capitals fans you will find online. It is Fatou Bah. Fatou, welcome to the podcast. How you doing today?
I'm great. I'm really, really happy to be here. I'm just such in awe of all the great work that you do, and I'm so glad that you reached out, and I'm glad to be a part of this conversation with everybody today. And
No.
yes, I am speaking of being a huge Washington Capitals fan. I live in New York, but I'm from DC, but I will be going to the game tonight at MSG. I'm so happy for this, but I'm so angry because I'm like, why October you guys come here when people think the Rangers will be good? So it's so expensive to go to the game. I wish they would come like in March when we know what's up and the tickets would be cheaper, but I can't control the schedule, obviously. So I'll be there tonight. I'm very excited. You guys will probably hear me on TV.
I
As you should.
probably. Oh, man, I know about top. I know I mentioned your involvement with Black Girl Hockey Club, and
Yes.
but you, what is it meant to be a part of a group with people like yourself, Renee Hess, and of course in the past you worked with Sebastian, and of course
Yeah.
the show in the past. Like, what is it meant to see Black Girl Hockey Club go from Renee realizing, hey, we're the black people, we're the black women watching hockey, to being a thing that's partnered with the NHL, with NHL teams, become an international project, international organization.
Well, it's fantastic because Renee had the same question all of us black girls and women had when we discovered how much we love this sport. Like, hey, does anybody else who look like me watch it? Or hey, do you go to games? Are you nervous to go to games by yourself as a black woman because you might stand out you might stand out and not in a positive way. And the best part to me about Black Girl Hockey Club, which on a high level is removing barriers of entry for girls and women in hockey. So, whatever that means for you, like if you're a girl, obviously we know hockey's expensive, being able to help fund these girls' dreams so that they don't have to give it up because of price. Or if you're like an older person like me who has no athletic skill, but maybe want to work in hockey, maybe, behind the bench, as a coach, maybe in broadcast, maybe in production, just being able to have a sense of community to, either help you through mentorship or just encourage you. Like I say, I'm like an auntie. So like I have this girl that I love, Dayton O'Donohue, who's actually right now at oh my God, the school in at Dartmouth. I went to go see her when she played Princeton's. I'm like, you're always going to have a team of aunties, and I like to play that role. So it's just been fantastic. And the most fantastic part is seeing people like the NHL or my Washington Capitals or Renee's Pittsburgh Penguins get behind us. Like, we are self-funded, we are nonprofit, and what we love is that we are not silenced. Like, we're speaking our minds, we're not sanitizing what our goal is. And especially, I live in the US, especially at a time like this where the word Black is, they're trying to get rid of that word. We're not changing our name. We are staying who we are, and our mission stays the same, because nothing changes just because some people want to go back to whitewashing society. So it's just been fantastic to still have teams like the Caps. I know I'm always saying that, I love that team, support us monetarily, because obviously as a nonprofit, we do need that type of support to continue our programming, to continue our scholarships. So I love it here, and I'm just grateful for Twitter. I'm not calling it the other name, but I'm grateful for Twitter that I found Renee, and that I was like, please, can I help however I can? And it's just been a fantastic ride.
Yeah, and you've all done a great job. I love the fact you refuse to call that other name. That name is for dorks. I won't call that either. So,
Yeah.
Correct.
no, but it's been really cool to see. And you mentioned teams, like how cool has it been to see, like you said, the Capitals be on board, other teams be on board, because these teams could have easily said, oh, we don't see the issue, it's not our problem. But it wasn't meant to see these teams be on board and help with events, with finances, and say, hey, this is important. We want to support what you're doing here to get more people of color, more Black girls, women in hockey and stay in hockey.
Well, the way I see it, first of all, it's, if you want to sanitize it, just call it community initiatives. Honestly, let's be real. Like, with the major sports, where is NHL compared to the NBA or the
Hmm.
NFL? And what's the big difference with those fan bases? Like NFL particularly, been reaching out to women. So happy Taylor Swift is there. Girls who don't even know what the Chiefs are buying those jerseys,
Hmm.
but they understand, in order to grow, you have to diversify yourself. You have,
Yeah.
in order to be innovative, you have to diversify yourself. Like, and I even go back to, like, everybody loves the slap shot. Everybody loves that Ovi does it. The person who created it looks like us. Wouldn't you
Hmm.
say that's a huge innovation in hockey? That hockey would be probably way more boring without that slap shot. So obviously, if you want the community to grow, if you do believe hockey is for everyone, then it needs to be for everyone. And obviously, partnering with organizations like ours, who are the voice of those people and the authentic voice of the people that you're looking for it to grow into, is smart business for them. I mean, obviously morally smart, but also smart business for them. So I'm so glad to see teams not shy away from this. Like, I am close with some members of the Capitals organization. And, let's be real, DC is, yes, gentrification is there, but DC is still Chocolate City.
Hmm.
So obviously, for if they want more people to come to the game, you go to the HBCUs, you go to Howard University, you go find the fans who, like, you go find the community, you go into the DC public schools. So it just makes sense for business. And I'm just glad that right now they have an easy way out, and they're not taking it, because they understand what it means for the community and they want to be a part of the community. So I love it.
Yeah. I mean, 10 out of 10. Not shying away from that is so, so important. And I love how immersed they are when they do this type of work with y'all, because it's not like oh my gosh, BGHC is gonna do all the work and then we'll just like slap our logo on it. No, like
Right.
they are there. They have members of their organization in workshops, doing the
Yep.
work, offering tickets, like on the ice. Like it's so many different types of ways to engage folks. And I love that so, so much. Um, but
Yeah.
the thing that I love that you highlighted is community. And that's my driving factor. It's like going into communities. Um, so with other teams that may not be as engaged, what do you think they could do a little bit better to immerse themselves into communities and kind of speak to Black folks a little bit more, to racialized folks a little bit more, and draw them in.
I mean, they honestly, they first have to believe that's important, because if they
Mm.
don't, there's really nothing you can tell them, unfortunately. I also think something that would be really great, and a lot of teams who are doing great stuff still need to do this:
Mm.
hire
Yeah.
hire Black
Yeah.
women,
Mm-hmm.
hire people of color, hire somebody who doesn't look like everybody in the room, who doesn't have the same story as everyone in the room, because
Mm-hmm.
that's really the only way you can grow. And so to me, I guess I would say to those teams who right now don't feel the need to have to do that, I mean, to just look outside of themselves to find fresh talent. Because I
Right.
feel once they find the fresh talent, they'll probably have somebody in the room that can finally like have a seat at the table to
Mm-hmm.
help them think above what they're doing. I mean, a lot of things I'd also say sometimes is look at your ticket attendance.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if, by the time it counts, like after Thanksgiving, when things start heating up, your team isn't that good. Like, what's going to keep your people still coming when your team is not
Right.
that good? You know?
What's the incentive?
What's the incentive? Like, I just
Mhm.
think about, for example, Vancouver. Vancouver has a huge Indian population, and I happened to be in Vancouver and went to a game, and it was Diwali night. I'm not Indian, but
Yeah.
I did not leave my seat once. It was
Yeah.
so fantastic. And that's just like another fantastic example of the community. Like, I just say to the teams that aren't thinking that, like, just think about how to bring more people to games. And if you're doing community-based initiatives, it's going to go beyond the law enforcement night and the whatever, or
Mhm.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Law
Like
enforcement,
those,
military, all
or
this, like,
Star Wars
just
night, like which
yeah.
Star Wars night, not my thing personally, but that's cool, fine. But like, think of just your community and what's going to bring someone new to say, you know what, I'll check this game tonight because you're doing something that, as a member of this community, looks really cool.
Yeah.
The other things too is a lot of these markets that are above like the Midwest United States, those communities were built off industry, which were built um off the dreams of Black people 100 years ago. So a lot of
Mhm.
these communities were developed by um Black people and immigrants. So my thing is, to answer Marsha's question too, is what else can be done. Is sometimes I look at it and I'm like doing nothing sometimes, like absolutely nothing. Sometimes is almost the right answer. And by that, I mean some of these teams will do a Star Wars night, and that's kind of cool. It's a theme night, it's for the kids. You're trying to grow that audience. And
Mhm.
they'll do that first responders night, which is, it is what it is, but you're
Mhm.
trying to appeal to that portion of the community too. But then they ignore you know the black community and the indigenous
Mm.
communities, and they ignore the East Indian communities.
Mhm.
Like I know a big sticking point in Canada right now, um with those who are upset that we have our own night in some buildings, is there's a lot of people in Canada who are still mad at the Jets because they had um an East Indian sing the national anthem last year in their language. And while a lot of people were complaining about it, you should have seen the building. It was electric. Everybody
Mhm.
loved it. Everybody loved it. And it really spoke out to that community as well. So sometimes just doing nothing, like if you're not going to celebrate and try and appeal to all audience, especially in hockey where we're at a pretty crucial point where the game needs to grow and move forward.
Mhm.
Sometimes doing nothing is is the right answer. But you can't just continue to turn your back on certain audiences while appealing to others, especially predominantly white audiences.
Mhm. Like, instead of just doing the frivolous, like, superficial things for the sake of doing it, just
Yeah,
just take a pause and actually think about what would benefit the community that's actually walking through your door instead of just doing something to do it.
Yeah,
Right?
it
Yeah.
definitely needs to be authentic because we definitely see through it if it's not.
Yeah. And then when you are doing the things at the Toronto Maple Leafs, let us know the promotion schedule
Yep.
because I
That's
should
also
not be,
helpful.
I shouldn't be like
2 days
an
before.
hour before the game, a day before the game. Oh, it's Pride Night. Oh, the game happened. Oh, it's Indigenous History Month, like
Yeah,
or Indigenous History Night. Like, what's stopping you from telling me, okay, this week it's this thing, this week like
yeah,
other teams can do it. Why do you have to like hold it so close to your hip? Are you not sure of what your schedule is? That's not real because you're a multi-billion dollar organization. You have to have this planned out in advance.
yeah.
What's the harm in telling people?
I think that's actually a good point. It's sometimes like you're shooting yourself in your own foot. Like you're doing all this great programming, you're doing all these things that the community should be involved in, but how are we going to be involved if you don't tell us?
Mm.
You don't
Hmm.
give us some notice, like a tweet maybe? I don't know.
Yeah.
A little
It
press
just
release?
it
I don't
should
know, like
I just want to point out too for listeners that while we specifically mentioned the Maple Leafs there, um, they did such a good job with their first year that
Hmm.
Fatou and
yeah,
Marsha and that was, I mean, I had met Marsha a bunch before, I believe the one I'm talking about specifically, but it allowed us to do shots with Sarah Nurse.
Yeah.
You
yeah.
know, we went to
Yeah,
we
yeah,
went to
yeah.
a game and then I got it well documented that we were at a bar doing shots with Sarah Nurse, which is like
I mean,
a top five night in my life.
and her
So
gold medal.
oh, and yep. And you know, they did such a good job with that one. But yeah, and you know, I do know that some of the people and connections that we have with the Maple Leafs, they will tune in to a podcast. So I do hope that they hear this one and understand that like I'm not saying anything bad about it. But yeah, the last 2 years, I remember sitting here with Marsha and Avry and Dave and Troy and a few others, and we're sitting here wondering, and the date's circled on the calendar, but we don't hear anything. And then the day before, it's like, oh, we've released a block of tickets. It's already impossible to get tickets to a game in Toronto, and it's even more impossible now because I don't know if you know this, but the ticket prices shot
Yeah.
right through the roof this year.
Oh my
So
God.
I don't, I'm not understating. I'm not when I say this, I don't know if I'll ever be able to get to a Leaf game at Scotiabank Arena unless it's free anymore.
Yeah.
Because I can't justify the price. But we were sitting there looking at it and we're like, okay, it's cool that we can be in the building. I can 100% buy that ticket for tomorrow's game now that I know it's tomorrow for their Black History celebration. But like, what are they doing? And then it just turns out that they drop the ball on everything. They wait too long to announce it. That just seems like there was no planning that went into it, or if there was, it was very poor. Um, you know, the Maple Leafs the last couple of years, while they maintain a decent presence with these games and their community relations on social media, when it comes to these games, they really drop the ball. They've been dropping the ball the last 2 years, and it's very disappointing to see. And you know, it's not just a Maple Leaf problem either. I believe we're seeing the same
League
thing
wide.
with a team in the Carolinas
Yeah,
who have
that's
continued.
been happening for some years.
Yeah, they you know they all the progress they were making just right down the chute, and you know it's not just a thing in this market, but we this is the market we live in, and you know if one person does happen to tune in that works here, I just want you to look at me and hear me say I want you to do better.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And we
Yeah,
want you to do better because we love the sport. And when you love
Exactly.
something, you are going to give the criticism. You're going to praise, but you're also going to give the criticism because you love it and you want it to be better.
Hmm.
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 Yeah. I think a great thing too as well is that I know this year is a little bit wonky because like, again Olympic break, so schedule is a little bit changed. But one thing I saw different teams doing things like certain events that are meant to promote diversity are being postponed until next year, 26, 27. I looked at that and thought to myself, well, wait, why do we need a game to our community? Like, why have to be attached to a game? I mean, yes,
Exactly.
yes, you're going to be away in Italy for Olympic Games, but why can't you still have an event during that time? Why are we postponing it a whole year away to have it attached to a game? You should still be able to honor these communities with the game or not during that season.
Hmm.
Have an event during the break. In my mind, I feel.
So you're telling me the whole team's gonna be going to the Olympics?
Right. Because we know that's not happening.
The fact that 82 games are still being played. And I know that the point is more so like, some teams like to do things during Black History Month. Most don't, let's be honest. But yeah, there's still 82 games being played. There's absolutely no reason why on March 13th or, November 25th, whatever it may be, you can still have these games.
Hmm.
Um, you can you can magically just fill it into a calendar and you can
Yeah.
still do the work. And it just seems like a weak excuse
Hmm.
to be like, oh, well, we're going to Italy, so we can't do it, or we're not going to do it. And if to the core, the whole, we want to dive in and do it properly, and we just felt like we couldn't do that this year. Even that, like, that's a weak excuse to me. But if that is truly the core of the thought process, then fine. But there's still 82 games. That is a lot of games. And then you factor in preseason games. You can do stuff at preseason games. I don't know why teams don't actually take advantage of preseason games and doing
Agreed.
promotions or special events there because
Mhm.
to a lot of people and Leaf fans specifically, New York fans, Vancouver fans, where the tickets are just so high, that's the cost efficient games.
That is
That
1000% true. Yeah.
you can maximize those times and instead of it just being, oh well, it's practice for our off ice ops too. No, just dive in. Dive in. Like turn those nights into something. That's a perfect opportunity. You got those preseason games. You got, when all is said and done, these NHL teams are going to play 90 games a season. They're going to play 90 games a season, and then you factor in playoffs, and I understand why in playoffs they don't do
Yeah.
more. It's already hard enough.
It's
Hmm.
hectic and it's, yeah.
But, some of these teams end up playing 90, 100, 110 games this year. Take advantage of it. Just,
Yeah.
it doesn't need to be specific to, oh, well, Pride gets celebrated in, I don't know if it's worldwide or just in Canada, but like I know the summer months are big months for Pride months. It doesn't need
Yeah.
Yeah.
to be that. You could do that in January. You could do you
Anytime.
Good.
could do Black Night in January, Diwali night. You could do like just put your schedule through a generator and let it autopilot.
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
The teams that, the teams that think outside the box when it comes to hiring are the teams who are going to decide to think outside the box with these type of nights. And that's why diversity of thought is so important in this sport, because who knows if they have somebody in the room suggesting exactly what you suggested. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a big reason why I like, even to touch on the point of Taylor Swift in the NFL. The NHL, one of the problems that I found with growth is that they overplay the hell out of like one viral moment. Like what's that?
Mhm.
What's that song they play in Colorado? The fans all sing it. Is it Mr. Brightside?
I
Yeah,
think
Oh
I
yeah,
think
Yeah,
yeah.
so.
that's
Yeah.
that's Colorado, right?
Mhm.
Well, yeah, the NHL still shows video of that from like the first time 2 seasons ago, and I've seen it a million times trending. And they overplay those moments because they're like, "See, our sport can be fun and hip," instead of realizing that, like, you don't it's fun in a lot of markets, and it's a lot of fun because of the work that goes in um to diversity and education. Like one of my favorite trips that I've done, and I don't know if all you know, but some I would travel to watch hockey religiously, like all over. I'm almost done the CHL, all 60 teams. That's a
Wow.
wide landscape. Think how
Nice.
big Canada
Yeah.
is, you know?
Hmm.
It's and I've done lower leagues, I've done the AHL, ECHL, I've done university, I've done NHL. And I've been on some cool trips that taken me some cool places, but none have really hit me harder than Pittsburgh did. And Pittsburgh, we got to go skate on the oh, that arena was truly horrible. But the what was it called? It was called the Armory Hunt Club or something like
Yeah, the
yeah.
Navy arena
Oh,
thing.
it
Yeah.
was you could tell it wasn't an arena, it was a hangar, but they have an arena in there and it's in a low income area and it's really cool. It was one of those like it was a humbling moment because you could feel some of the history that's been on that ice for the last few years and you see the love that the community has for it. Like I'm pretty sure that they're not able to open that arena this year because of funding. Um, which is unfortunate, but that Pittsburgh trip was really cool because I got to meet a bunch of fans in Pittsburgh who attended that Black History event, and I met friends that were involved with the team that I still talk to on a semi-regular basis, not so much right now, but now that I'm getting back into social activities and talking to people again, I'm starting to pick up those conversations again, and then you see the work that they do in game and um like those are the moments that I wish the NHL would highlight. Instead of pumping this one moment out, there's moments that are happening every day that are cool, like this, that just don't get the attention it deserves. And I wish that the NHL would do just a better job at highlighting it. And obviously we're still a while away, and we talk about hiring practices and stuff like that. And I don't know. I've been part of some really cool moments that would um and a national audience would have that same I wish would have that same respect that oh look, our fans can sing, you know?
Our team, my Capitals had like a semi-viral moment last season with so our defenseman Jacob Chikrin, who also had his best year professionally last year.
Mhm.
Each one thing cool that the Caps do is each player has a goal song.
Mhm.
So Jacob Chikrin, he chose Bands a Maker Dance, and that became like our rally cry song. I understand why the NHL might not have picked that one particularly up because, the subject matter. But either way, it made it to Juicy J that Ovi and Chikrin would love that song and would say it would say it before they come out. And they invited him to a game and he's like back with them before they come out the tunnel and they're doing the song together and then Ovi immediately scores and it just becomes this big
Oh
thing.
my God.
And I went and me and my friend Philly, we joke like, this is like both of our worlds coming together, like great hip hop and hockey
Mhm.
and our team like bringing it together. And that's like a organic like community thing that just sticks. And I remember last year I went because I live in New York, I went to an Islanders game to see the Caps. I was there, yes, for Ovi, but the second one after he like made
Mhm.
history. And we're me and my friend are leaving the game, obviously, in our Caps gear. And this black security guard comes up to us. He was like, "You're the team that has the Juicy J song. You're the team that does Dance and Make It Dance. I love your team." And I was like, "Yes!" Like it made it to him. Like I was like, "Yes!" And I just like organic moments like that are so cool.
Hmm.
No, that is sick. And speaking of the Capitals, of course, one of the coolest things I saw a few years ago was Joel Ward wearing a Black Girl Hockey Club shirt to
Yes,
opening
yes.
face-off. And again, Joel, he's
He's the
unapologetically
homie.
black. Yep, Joel doesn't care what
Yes.
you think. But what is it meant to have Joel Ward being all on board from Black Girl Hockey Club and being supportive of this group from day one?
He was one of the first and the loudest, and I've gotten to know him over the years, and it doesn't shock me that he's like he asked, he's like, I want to wear a hoodie because I'm gonna go out here on a nationally televised game. And that was such a big deal to us. I can't tell you how many texts I got. Like I was a part of it. I really wasn't, but I love that I get to be associated with that. And that's always, Joel Ward, he has a story talking about how his mom like at sometimes had to stop coming to games to see him when he was younger because the parents were just so mean and negative, like in the seats, in the bleachers. And he's like, my mom knows more hockey than all of these people combined, and it just sucks that certain people make it so that she can't enjoy the sport the way she wants to. And I think that's something that just stuck with him. And now he's a coach. He's a coach with the Vegas Golden Knights, which is such a big deal. And I feel like he semi-announced, like during the pandemic, we started doing more programming because obviously we couldn't go anywhere. So we did a lot of Zooms. And he was a guest at one of our Zooms. And he told us, my next step is I want to get into coaching. And I feel like he told us this and he manifested it. And now he is coaching. And that's such a big deal for us because it's good for us to see people like him coaching or people like Anson Carter post game on TNT. Like there is life after playing for us, and we have a seat, behind the bench, or we have a seat commentating, analyzing games. He's just been he's been a fantastic, he's been a fantastic supporter. Him and Wayne Simmons in particular. Oh my God. Have been just such big fans of this. Like they told us, I wish this was around for my mom because we've noticed with Black Girl Hockey, we were just thinking one thing like, oh, meetups, oh, people want to play the game. But now the moms or the dads, they talk to each other like, hey, your daughter did this camp. Can you give me advice for my daughter doing this camp? Like it's become beyond the community in my head that I thought of. So, yeah, it's been great to have his support, especially like obviously he's a hero. He doesn't buy drinks in DC. He's a Caps hero for that Boston overtime game. He is a hero. He gets so much, well, obviously him in DSP, like you don't buy anything when you're in DC because you are our heroes. And especially how they look in our community. More people who look like us are going to play hockey because of their contributions to the sport.
Yeah, and you mentioned that goal score against Balls. I want to say, I was at a house party watching that game in a basement. It had a low ceiling and exposed pipes. And me seeing that goal, Norval Life at 2, I jumped up and smacked my head on the pipe. I'm sure there's probably some bump on my head from that. Like, that's lots of memory of seeing Joel score. I mean, just KOing myself in celebration, seeing Joel score that goal.
What a moment. I mean, and especially who he scored it on. Oh my God, that was fantastic. I mean, hero. He's a good guy. He's fantastic.
Yeah, no.
And we appreciate his support. And even like him with the Vegas Golden Knights, he's like, okay, how can I help for us to do something like with the team? And it's just great to have people like that open the doors for us because we definitely need that type of help and support and eyeballs. And it's just really, it's really sweet. And, they tell you don't meet your heroes, but sometimes you can, and they're fantastic.
Yeah.
So, he's one of them.
Joel is amazing. He's been a great dude to all of us. I do ask you for two, of course. You mentioned the Capitals here. And just what are your thoughts going into the season here? This is a team I know. Again, the big thing is, of course, Ken Ovi set more records with his goal scoring streak again. Can the Capitals get back to the postseason? What are your thoughts on this Capitals team, in which I know last year people might have thought the Capitals were going to be on the decline. They weren't. But what are your thoughts on the Capitals still being a threat in the Eastern Conference on a team that just will not say die in that conference for two?
So I could go two ways with this. Part of me loves that we're under the media's radar because that's how I feel we thrive. This kind of is giving me little 2017, 2018 vibes in the sense that they're doubting us. They think the media thinks last year was a fluke, and that's totally fine. But we saw last year, Ovi is now 40. Ovi was turning 40. He broke his leg, still came back and beat the record, which means that if he didn't have 6 weeks off, he'd have broke that record sooner.
So early.
So You can't, as long as we have Ovi on our team, you can't count us out. And then, of course, if people follow me on social, you know who my favorite player is. We have a unicorn of a player that every team wants, and that name is Tom Wilson. He
Yup.
is our future captain. Everybody loves
Uh-huh.
Toronto's son, but he's ours in DC, a great community member too. So between the two of them and the tweaks that the Caps have done, and my favorite ball-headed coach, Spencer Carberry, I think we're in fantastic hands. Like, we actually have a coach that likes the youth. We have a
Mm.
huge monster on our team named Alexi Protes and his brother. Like, I don't know why people are counting us out. And we also have Logan Thompson, who is a fantastic goalie. I call him Braden Holtby's son. I'm convinced they're related. They look just alike. They act just alike from what I see. I definitely feel, and I also, the Metro doesn't look that scary. I'm confident in my team, and I don't know why I don't know why the media doesn't see it for them, but I totally do. And they're doing what they need to do. Now, that said, that power play is atrocious. So something needs to be done there. Like, oh my God, that's a hot mess. But hopefully they figure it out tonight when I'm at MSG, and hopefully Ovi score. I mean, Ovi loves the spotlight, so let's see what he does tonight.
Mhm.
Tom Wilson kind of owns MSG, so I'm excited to see what he does there tonight.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely still high on the Caps. I didn't expect what they did, what they were going to do last year. I didn't think that we would be the number 2 team in the league. But if we could do that last year and I had no expectations, I definitely think we will this time. Also, we have an angry Logan Thompson who thinks that it was his fault we didn't make it past Carolina, and he's probably one of the only ones I don't blame for that series. So
Mm.
we have an angry goalie who's already really good and can keep us in games and is fantastic and a winner himself. I definitely feel I don't feel Ovi's retiring this year, but obviously he hasn't told us. I definitely feel if this is the last hurrah, maybe we go off on the right. But plus this year we don't have the stigma of, oh my God, is he going to make it? Is he going to make it? Is he going to score this? Blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. Like,
Now it's
now
just
I think
fun.
they're loose. It's fun again and it's
Yeah.
loose. So I'm excited for the team. I did not like that we dropped the first game, but apparently with our new coach, that's 0-3 in the home opener. So that's what we do. That's what we do. Okay. But the Islanders game yesterday was fantastic. I feel good about this team. I have no reason not to. Like I said, I'm really pleasantly surprised that with our legend, we still have a competitive team from because some teams, Pittsburgh, it's not looking good. Oh no. I'm just happy we're not wasting legends' years as they get older. So
True.
Wow.
I
This
think
is
we've done the
true.
proper tweaks, and we have a great, like I said, we have a great coach for young kids. Connor
Hmm.
McMichael might be the best Connor Mike Mick. I'm just saying. I know I'm
Okay,
Oh,
biased.
okay,
oh,
I'm
oh,
just
okay,
oh.
saying.
okay.
He might
So
be.
we got some good people.
Listen, I first off, you're welcome for Spencer Carberry.
Yes, thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Second, even I seen that shirtless Tom Wilson workout video in the summer, and I still watched it like 140, 150 times. So
Everybody loves. How can you not?
that
How
I don't know how, and like let's not. It's weird for you know me and you specifically to look at Tom and call him old, but he's like 5, 6, 7 years younger than us. Like it's you
Yeah,
know
and he's
it's weird. It's weird looking at him as old, but he's turning 31. I don't understand how
but he's been with
in
us forever. We
He
forget
sports
that. Like
old.
he's been with us since he was a kid. And I'm like,
he
oh my God, he's
Yeah.
kind of an elder statesman now.
he was a Plymouth Whaler, and it seems like it's been decades since that team has just went defunct.
Oh
So
dear. When you
yeah,
put it that way.
he was a Plymouth Whaler, and there's not too many of those kicking around
Oh
anymore.
my God.
I got to say about him, I call him a fantastic example of allyship because we also need that with Black Girl Hockey
Oh
Club.
yeah.
Like, I would, in my dream, I would love for him to be associated with Black Girl Hockey Club. I'm not saying that in that allyship. I mean allyship as far as anytime there's a community initiative in DC, I see him there. Whether
Oh,
it's
Toronto
with the
too.
nurses, whether it's with
Hmm.
the kids in the DC public schools, even in Toronto where he's from, like anytime anything bad happens with, people being racist, you hear him talk about it, even if
Mm-hmm.
it's not somebody on his team. He did that with one of the Subban brothers. Like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I heard what he said. I believe him. This is terrible. We don't need this in this sport.
Yep.
And you know what sustains Black Girl Hockey Club too are our allies, because we do need people who don't look like us to help us as well. And
Yeah.
I'm just happy I have a favorite player in the league that seems to care about community, and community that doesn't necessarily look like him, like understands the importance of that, and
Mm-hmm.
actually, does that too. That's why I call him noted good guy Tom Wilson. Like, he's doing
Yeah.
exactly what he's supposed to do. And everybody is trying to go in the lab and find him. So
Yeah.
Well, he's from
he's a
I'm
Toronto
fairly
boy.
certain he's from Toronto. He's from
Yeah,
Etobicoke.
he's from
Yeah.
Toronto.
Like which
Yeah.
is which like some of the surrounding areas in Etobicoke, like while in a pocket, Etobicoke is fine. There's a lot of black communities right on the
And I think he's
pockets
played with them.
of
I
that
think he's played
neighborhood.
with the Subans growing up. Like, he's played with a
Mm-hmm.
lot of these people.
Mhm.
And
I,
I've heard
I
only good things about him. Joel Ward has nothing but nice things to say about him. So I was like, wow, I actually chose a great favorite player. Okay, good.
Yes.
'Cause sometimes you got to worry about that.
listen, when it comes to the Sioux bands, I will talk about Reagan, Marcellus,
Reagan's
Jordan, Malcolm,
fantastic.
and that's the cutoff.
Oh
That's
my
the
Let
cutoff.
me tell you something. As Tom Wilson, when you come back home and you still go to Yorkdale with no problem, even with all the youngins, and you're still climbing that escalator to go to that Yorkdale Cineplex, like there's nothing wrong in not a care in the world, then you know that you're for the people.
Yeah.
Yo, I
He,
do, I do feel like if Tom Wilson ever did end up with a Maple Leaf, there would be so many hoodmans wearing number 43 Maple Leaf jerseys. It would be
Yes,
the
sir.
dudes in the hood would be wearing Tom Wilson jerseys, pulling up to Leaf games. They would be
Yes,
rocking his
sir.
43.
all the people, all those old Cadre jerseys. Because let's be honest, like Cadre has been out of Toronto for like five. It's sad how long it feels like he's been gone. Because
And
he's one of my favorite players, and I went to school with him. By the way, he got kicked out of the Royal Ontario Museum when we were 16, so don't let him forget that. Um, well, they told him to stop touching stuff, and he didn't listen.
I'm a huge fan of him too, and it brought tears to my eyes to see him bring the Stanley Cup to a mosque, because the
Yes.
Stanley Cup needed to visit that. And I just love that he's unapologetically him. And I think kind of each team that's lost him kind of lost a little bit of grit and a little bit of a
Hmm.
step. Maple Leafs might have gotten it a little bit back but for a minute, I think they were struggling without him, because
Yep.
he's a uniquely he's a player that if he's not on your team, you're not supposed to like
Unicorn,
him,
you
and
said it
he knows
earlier.
his role. Like, he's doing his job. Sometimes you need a little bit of a psychopath on your team. You know,
So I don't know if you know this, but London, Ontario has like the Muslim population is growing there.
I've heard,
And
yeah.
and over the last like decade, the hate crimes towards Muslims has grown there more than a lot of places. Like there's been a couple incidents of people driving their cars on sidewalks trying to hit them there. So like it meant the world to the Muslim population in London, Ontario for him to do that. But he's always been he's always been a good guy. He's always been somebody who had his head on his shoulder, like a good
Save.
head on his shoulders. I used to run in when he played for the Rangers, his whole family, 19, 20 of them would come, quite often to games, and they were some of the funnest people in the crowd. Um,
They
they
usually are, right? Yeah.
you had mentioned it earlier. He was kind of a unicorn, but to my point, it's been such a while that he's been out of Kitchener or out of Toronto that I do think that there's a gap between, you know, playing for the Habs and then becoming a Maple Leaf and playing for the Capitals and becoming a Maple Leaf. And I do think that because Tom does love Toronto, I do think that he will come home eventually.
You
But
know,
it's
I'm
gonna
gonna have
be
to stop you there. He'll come home to play. Obviously, Caps play Toronto Maple Leafs, but that just tells you the legend of Tom is so great, because it started as everybody hating him too. He's gonna come back and play, right? He's gonna come
Yeah,
back and play.
yeah.
So
Mhm.
He's
I'll
gonna
let
be the
y'all.
captain of the
I'll let
Washington
y'all
Capitals for a
fantasize.
while, you
Yeah,
know.
it seems like he's next in line there, and I do like what the Washington Capitals do off the ice. I do like their roster on the ice, except for um, you know, I'm not the biggest Dylan Strome fan. Um,
Oh.
That's
that
not his fault. That's Arizona's fault.
well that there's some problem that's problematic family, but um like I like what they're doing. I like the youth that they got. I like the fact that I know first off I'm friends with probably the biggest Canadian Capitals fan. Um I don't know if you'll remember Marsha, but a couple well, geez, it's been like 10 years now. But when Washington eliminated us from the playoffs, there were those two girls in the front row at Maple Leaf Square.
Uh,
There's a gif of them celebrating. The one's actually a friend of mine. Um,
That series was nuts. Whoa,
oh
I
my
was scared.
gosh.
I'll be honest, especially now that that series is dead and gone. I was actually very nervous of the upset because it was looking that way for a second.
Uh-huh.
I don't I miss that era of Leafs hockey in the sense that like I obviously listen I'm a fan until the day I go, but I don't like the feeling that I get around this team in the off season now because it feels like we're not being built towards, hey, we've got a bright future. It's like, no, it's here now and we need to win now. I don't like that feeling, but back which it's hard to believe how long that series was, like how long ago that series was now
Mhm.
because it doesn't feel like it was that long ago, but it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Um
Ovi
Pretty sure
tried to
Jerome
give
McGinley was
them
still in the
advice.
NHL. Yeah.
Ovi tried to give the advice because that was like baby caps kind of a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, obviously we know the stuff that I've gone through in life. Uh, I like I liked life better when Mitch Marner was a Leaf. So I don't like living in a post Marner Leaf world.
Postmarner
Yeah, that's
society.
tough because he's also Toronto's boy too, right? Like,
Mm.
Yeah. It's
I mean,
weird.
you know, I do love I made it to Toronto to a game and I had a jersey that my friend gave me, so it was an old school jersey and I got so much love for it. I got a free drink. I got so much love for it. So I do love the fan base, like you live and die for the Maple Leafs. But we have to have some caution here not to give these players mental breakdowns because like
Yeah.
Oh,
what, like they're still humans.
you didn't hear what happened, did you?
Um, what
People doxed like and listen,
Yes, I did hear that. Yes.
I will say this.
Yes.
My
Yeah.
problem was never with Mitch Marner. I never liked the post game interviews he did after they got eliminated because it was very what's the word I'm looking
One
for?
foot out the
Like
door.
robotic almost. Like, hey, we had it in us, almost did it, blah blah blah. I didn't like it. He never really took accountability. But like I would nobody really did. Nobody really did. The club would just brush it off and so like I'm not gonna put that as a Marner problem. Every Leaf fan, the problem should be with the way his agent paraded around Toronto. The day Austin Matthews signed his extension like 4 years ago, whatever it was. Marner's agent went on, and it's documented. He was in the media basically trashing it, and um, how his agent was just never, and that's the reason why a lot of Leaf fans, if we're like me, I don't care about the playoffs. They get eliminated, they get eliminated. I got to go to work the next day. I got, stomachs that need to be fed. I'm not trying to bully somebody or anything like that. But, that was my problem with the whole Marner era was the way that his agency and his dad kind of, you know, they didn't do him any favors.
Hmm.
At the end of the day, no one should have gone to his house, dumped their garbage out.
That's crazy.
Nobody should have sent death threats to his new wife and new baby.
I mean, it's never that deep.
No, it
Never.
is a game.
I'll say this because a lot of people are like, oh, and I hope people from other fan bases are listening. People are like, oh, that's just Leaf fans. I
No, no,
hate
no.
that. I hate that because I will say this. the Leafs have one of the biggest sporting fan bases in the world. So, of course, it's in a vacuum, it's going to be a lot louder. You're going to see things, you're going to hear things, they're going to do things. But, like, let's not let the 1% of people tarnish a whole fan base. I don't like that fan
Exactly.
bases
That's
will
also
continue
true.
to go after each other. We all want to watch our teams win. We all have jobs to do. We're all investing our hard-earned money in these clubs. Like this isn't a, oh, I'm superior, you're superior. No, every
Mhm.
fan base has its you know problematic
Crazy
fans, and
people.
and that's the thing
Absolutely.
is you touched it earlier. It never needs to be that deep.
And look, as a Caps fan, I definitely want it for your fan base because it's been so long since it's happened for Toronto. So all the fans essentially haven't felt that. Just the feeling of the Caps winning, all of the playoff messes that we've had, whether it was Lundqvist shutting us down or the Pens, because we knew like whoever won that second round was going all the way and winning, and it just was not on our side, even when we were technically the better team. And then the
Mhm.
year that it happened for us when nobody thought it would happen, and we thought that what happened with Marner might happen, maybe they separate Backstrom and Ovi, like something has to
Mhm.
change, so something big like that. And so for that to happen for us and the way to win the way we did, it just made all of those playoff horrendous moments worth it. And I know for Toronto, for the fan base, I do wish that for you guys so that you would just look back at the playoffs failures like, you know what? Maybe we need to do all of that for this to be so exciting and feel so good. So I
Mhm.
do wish that for you guys.
Yeah,
And you're an Oilers fan, right, Avery?
yes, yeah, I'm out here. Yeah, I'm out West Edmonton. I mean, I got a chance to see two straight Cup finals. I mean, something
I
that,
mean,
Marsha
I
and
wish a
Marsha didn't
goalie for
want
you.
that.
I want a
Yeah.
goalie for you because
Yeah.
you got too much. Like, it's unfair to have Draisaitl and McDavid and not have
And
one at all. Like,
yeah.
that's insane. Oh my
They,
God. Like,
they
Draisaitl's probably my favorite non-capital player right now. I love that
yeah.
man.
Leon is amazing, and I do think Stuart Skinner will figure things out, but I do think them bringing in Connor Ingram is gonna put some pressure on both him
Definitely.
and Cal Pickard. But yeah, this is the year for Edmonton where they're
To
as an
figure
organization for
it out.
them, figure it out because you go back to a cup final for a third time in a row, you can't lose. You cannot lose
No.
three cups in a row.
And
No.
you kind of gotten someone who I don't want to say his name off the team that was just
Yep.
ruining vibes.
You ain't even
So
you ain't even gotta say it. You ain't even gotta say the name. We all know who you're talking about.
So I think that maybe that was a good thing that happened because I just wish that player. You know what? All of this is allegation, so I'm not gonna say anything.
Hmm.
But that player, to me, I said to my friend before, had to me a little bit of Tom Wilsonness. Like, could have been a unicorn because the talent is 1,000% there.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mhm.
we're not going to go into
Yeah.
why that's not going to happen. But I'm
Mm.
glad that you've rid the locker room of
Yeah.
that.
I I
No.
had told I had told Avery, or no, I Avery, you wonder why I want Edmonton to win this year?
Mm.
Because Connor McDavid going to be a Leaf in 4 seasons, so it
Uh,
doesn't matter. Get it done now.
Or
Because
I thought the contract was 2 years.
this year is 1 year plus 2 years after, and so season
Oh,
4
okay,
from
okay.
now he'll be a Leaf.
Oh,
uh,
true,
So
true, true,
he's
true,
he's
true.
he's coming. He's coming. That contract. Listen, that contract was a gift for Edmonton, and I know he
Yeah.
loves Edmonton because I've lived in Edmonton and I loved it. And I want to touch on one core memory before I move on because it has something to do with Edmonton and the Oilers. But one of my favorite things, and I'm gonna say a curse word here in a minute too, because it's hilarious. One of my favorite hockey memories, maybe my favorite right now, was after Edmonton, the first Stanley Cup final, won Game
Mhm.
6. Me and my wife at the time, and Sophia and Hendrix, we went downtown and we were driving and honking, and there was a car parade that lasted about 3 hours because they had just come back from being down in the series 3-0, tied
Yeah.
the series at
yep.
3. So like Edmonton after Game 6, it was almost like they won the cup. And the players were driving down that little alleyway there too. They were honking and celebrating too. One of the coolest moments because Sophia was like, "Oh, I want to stand out the car," and I look over at a cop, and he's like, "Yeah, go ahead." So we put her out, and everybody's coming and high-fiving her, and she just loved it.
Aw,
She didn't
what a
understand what was
moment.
going on, but she's like, I want a high five, I want a high five. And when we're driving around, the funny thing about Leon Draisaitl and why he's one of my favorite players is because of everything that follows him. Like there's this big thing right now, and if you go to Edmonton while like it's peak hockey season, you're gonna see a lot of signs that just say Leon, you hot bitch.
He's
And it's
definitely a great
hilarious.
face of the league.
Correct.
He
It's
is definitely
hilarious.
a great face. That's a
Like it was
fact.
just it's so cool. And Edmonton gets dumped on a lot. They say players don't want to be there. I absolutely do not think it's true. It is 100% cold there, but Edmonton is one of the coolest cities that
Of
I've ever been
course.
to, and I've traveled North America religiously. Canada, United States, Southern Americas. I've done it. Edmonton is one of my favorite spots, and if I could ever live there again, I would. And I absolutely believe that McDavid loves that city, but he's coming home to Toronto. That contract was, hey, we're gonna do this in this time or I'm gone. And I
We
think even if he does it in that time, he's gonna be gone too.
And
And
that's not because
not
he
because he
doesn't
doesn't
love
like
Edmonton.
not
It's
because
because they're not building around him.
yeah. And that's why like when we were talking about said player, and I'll keep this quick because I know everybody's got a schedule today. When we were talking about said player earlier, the unfortunate thing, and I had talked about this with my friend, and I said if you remove, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to live in a world where he wasn't, where we're ignoring the alleged things he's done. If you remove all that, are we talking about a borderline Hall of Fame player? And the answer is yes.
He's really good.
You look at his best seasons, 30 goals, 35 goals, 25 assists. Like he's flirts
He's
around
an
the
X
60 point.
factor. He's the
Yeah,
reason they won that LA series.
he could have gone down as one of the best power forwards to ever play the game.
He's certainly an X factor, and
And
I want to root for him, but
that's the sad part. And me and I remember having this conversation with Marsha a couple years ago. Like that's a player that if the head was just straight and forward, that's a player that you can root for. But it's even if you
Unfortunate.
remove all that off ice stuff, look at his track record in these dressing rooms. It grows stale quick. 18 months.
Hmm.
That's not a player that you can keep around. And for
Nope.
Vancouver to trade for said player while trying to get rid of another. Because now that we're starting to see what JT Miller is,
Yeah.
you know,
R.I.P. to Quinn Hughes.
that's okay. Listen, he's going to Jersey. He's going. He's going to Jersey. Like I watched
he
the
wants to
game.
be with his brothers.
I watched the game last night, and every time the camera pans to him, it looks like he wants to cry.
I don't know. His demeanor is always very, very, very
Deadpan.
strange.
Like every time I see him, it looks like he's just like, you know, like you don't. And he's in a, that they're actually like his family's very intelligent.
Oh
They're
yeah.
they're very they're very smart people. They're calculated. I think he's going, but that's a conversation for another day. But no, I just wanted to point out that McDavid's going to be a Leaf. You know.
Well, I'd
Uh,
rather that than a Ranger because that's what they think in New York.
Oh Jesus.
I've
And
heard that
Oh
too. I've
no.
heard that
that would,
too.
oh my God,
Dear
I
Lord.
would actually cry. So
I don't listen for like Connor and his wife. They just don't. Connor's from Newmarket, and let's be honest, Newmarket is.
Not New
You,
York.
you take the 404 right off the DVP, or yeah, the DVP. Um, it's not that far from Toronto. There's no farmland in between. It's just highway and tech buildings and stuff like that. It's not a long drive. So he's gonna spend a lot of his time in big cities. Edmonton's got 1 million people. It's not a small place.
No.
There's
mhm.
just not a lot of, community outside the actual city limits. Um, him and his wife just don't seem like like big city, massive city people. Like I don't think Connor would want to do that to himself. He doesn't seem like the kind of person who wants to travel around an LA or a New York. He's I don't see it. I hope you're right.
He'd look
I don't
great.
want to see him go there either because
I think he'd look great in a Caps cherry blossom jersey, but I'm biased. That's just
I
me.
was just gonna
I-
say yes.
I will say this.
You see smaller.
2 years ago, I had the perfect trade offer. I had the perfect trade offer for the Leafs for Tom Wilson.
Yeah, it wasn't
I hate
perfect though, because that's never happening. So,
it.
yeah.
Listen,
I know you did.
listen.
I was like, hey, not too much. Not too much.
Oh my goodness. Oh, and for two, I know you're going to the game tonight. So before I let you go, I want to ask you, so what's the plan next for BGHC? What's your schedule like? What's the plan for the org? What do you guys have on tap coming up soon?
Yeah, we have meetups coming up. I can't announce the teams yet, but we have some meetups coming up. Um, we're just continuing also to fundraise because we have a lot of girls that we give scholarships to, whether it's Bauer Equipment, and Bauer is a fantastic partner, or just money to be able to continue playing the sport. We are definitely working on lots of fundraising activities, and more information on that to come as well. I don't want to say anything too premature. And just being fabulous and moisturized and making sure that people know who we are and what we do. That's always what's going to happen. So I really appreciate you giving me a moment to speak about Black Girl Hockey Club. It means so much to me, and I just really appreciate that you let me talk about it on your platform. Like, I really appreciate it.
Now, of course, we all support the work that you and Renee do, and I know you guys have been a big supporter of us during Intermission, promoting our stuff, promoting our live show last summer. So we appreciate you guys. And
I really appreciate it. Always fun, and this was great. I love, I can talk about my Caps or Tom Wilson all day long, so I appreciate a platform to do it.
awesome, great stuff.